Hello guys, welcome to what is essentially encounters 23 and 24 together. We decided last week we'd skip 23 because it's not got information that's all that critical. Essentially, to recap 23, sometimes when you have an object pronoun, it will have a nun that's inserted into it. And so it will be expressed with a dagesh. That's really the big change. Not really so important. They just looked at some more examples of adding them. So if you look on 281, Yekadeshenu is en hu, where the hey has been inserted into the nun with the dagesh. Yekadeshenu means he will sanctify him or make him holy. Yekadeshena, of course, it's like ha, but the hey is missing. The hey has been inserted into the nun with the dagesh. Yekadesheka with ka, where it's hard because of the dagesh with the nun inserted into the kaf. Really, it's just not important enough to spend an entire chapter on. It's something you're going to get used to as you read. So not something we're going to spend time on. Today we're going to actually start with the Hebrew weak verb and how we identify weak verbs and what it means. So first of all, types of roots. We're going to look at identifying roots in Hebrew. We identify roots by the special letters that they contain. These special letters can be gutturals or vowel letters, obviously because these cause issues whenever they appear. Roots are normally composed of 3 letters or radicals. You know this already. A root that contains no gutturals or vowel letters is called strong. In Hebrew, we call them complete. That is shalem, a whole root. It's called this because the letters don't disappear or they don't become absorbed into another letter. They don't cause anything odd with the vocalization. They're strong. The letters are strong and they stand on their own. To identify the root, we mark which position, that is first, middle, or final, that the special letters appear in. So since pa'al is the model root, we can refer to the first position as pei, because pa'al, pei. Second is ayin, because ayin is in the middle, and third is lamed. Or we can simply use 1, 2, and 3 Roman numerals. For example, pei aleph is a root that has aleph in the first position. It can also be called first aleph. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Simple enough. So characteristics of nun that when it appears in roots. We've seen on many occasions that nun assimilates into the following consonant. For example, nasa, he traveled. Yinsa, yissa, yissa becomes assimilated. Naga, yinga, yiga, yiga. Natan, natanta, natata. Like it still assimilates. Anytime that nun is up against another consonant, it tends to assimilate, but that doesn't necessarily happen all the time. Like this word, natash, can appear as yitosh with assimilation, or yintosh without the assimilation. Both forms exist and both are possible. It means abandon or to leave. So the words here, nasa is travel, naga touch, natan give, and natash abandon or to leave. So it's the characteristic of first nun and third nun roots that the nun tends to disappear with dagesh assimilation. Notice that this is also common in the hiphil, which can produce hin or han at the beginning of first nun roots. So for example, on the left here we have naga, the same word we had up at the top. Naga means touch, and it's followed by the bet prefix. So this is a speaker, a Bluetooth speaker. You can say, I touch the speaker. Ani nogea, naga, nogea, ba ramkol, ba. You say ba. It follows lingua or lagat, to touch. But when it's in the hiphil, to touch can be to reach. Like can you reach it? You know, can you touch it? Can you reach it? So leagia is to reach, but it takes on the meaning of arrive. Like if you reach your destination, it means you arrive at your destination. So you say magia or higia means arrive. So naga, you add the prefix hingia, like that's a hiphil shape, hingia. The noon assimilates higia. That's the real form is higia. Okay. The same with the infinitive, lehangia, lehagia. Lehagia is to arrive. Lehagia, the infinitive. Higia is he arrived. And one more example, nasa, whenever you travel, when you make someone travel or you give them a ride, you say in modern Hebrew, you give someone a ride, you say in the hifil, hinsia, hisia. Hisia is he gave someone a ride. He took them there, took him there. So the infinitive is lehasia. Lehansia, lehasia, lehasia. That's the assimilation of the noon. So that first noon root has assimilation both in the imperfect of the kal and also in the hifil in most forms. Probably all forms of hifil, actually. Yeah, all forms. So that's a weird characteristic of noon. Noon tends to assimilate. The second odd characteristic of letters is that gutturals don't double. They don't take dagesh. We've already talked about this many times. They can do one of two things. Either they can do virtual doubling, where they act as if they are doubled, or they can do compensatory lengthening, where they lengthen the vowel in front of them. So these are three examples of virtual doubling. We would expect the pattern to have dagesh in the middle. Let me pull up a red laser pointer. How about that? You'd expect that to have dagesh in the middle radical, but it refuses the dagesh because it's guttural. In the case of het, hey, and sometimes ayin, the vowel doesn't change length. It stays where it is. So sichek, gihetz, and bi'er. Sichek means he played. Gihetz is a modern word. It means that he ironed, like using an iron to flatten clothes. And bi'er is he burnt something. The burning bush said that the bush bo'er and isn't consumed. Bo'er is the kal, and bi'er is you burn it, you cause it to burn. Okay, and compensatory lengthening can happen in several different ways. It happens a lot where we would expect this aleph to be doubled, and the aleph says no, I don't take dagesh, and then it kicks that dagesh is like kicked over here to make it long. So be'er, birech with the resh that says no, it's berech, but in the Bible most of the time it's berach for whatever reason. Yema'en, he will refuse. The aleph refuses it, and it becomes yema'en with a long a. So we've got short I becoming long e. We've got short a becoming long a. We have here also yima'en is from ne'eman, means faithful. He will be faithful. Ye, it's a ye amen becomes ye amen. Ye amen is the real form. And this one, just like we have be'er, the aleph rejects it. In the pu'al also, it rejects that dagesh. Mevu'ar becomes mevo'ar. The u lengthens to o. This is just an oddity of what happens with gutturals, that they refuse dagesh, and many times you see a vowel lengthen to compensate for that loss of dagesh. Yeah, we've seen it several times already in our coverage. But all right, we need to remark that gutturals prefer A-class vowels. So we already know that in the imperfect in the kal we have two different theme vowels. We can have an A theme or an O theme. Remember, we've got malach, he reigned, and yimloch, he will reign. We have lavash, he wore something, he wore clothes, and in the future, yilbash. And many times we don't know why some verbs have a and others have o. They tend to say that it's mostly verbs that have a, like yichbad, it will be heavy. stative meaning that it describes a state of being, like heaviness, or I don't understand why to learn would be considered stative and to wear, that doesn't seem stative to me, but that's how they explain it. So with that, words that normally, or forms that normally have like yedaber, when there's a guttural involved, like a chet or an ayin or whatever, it will either add an okay, like yishaleach, or it will replace the altogether and just say yishalach. And both of these forms exist in the Bible. Yifateach, yifatach. Both of them are completely legitimate. In modern Hebrew, we've gotten rid of the eya and just take this one. You just take the yishalach and yifatach. So these are examples of some gutturals pulling for sure the a vowel instead of the imperfect. Yiftach, he will open. Yishlach, he will send. Yita. This is like to stretch out your hand. Yita. Yad nutuya is a hand that's been stretched out. Yitzhak, he will laugh or shout. In this case, he will shout. Yitzchak is laughing. Yitzhak is shout. Yivla, he will swallow, and Yigba, he will become high. He will be elevated, or tall, either one. The idea is that gutturals, where other words will take an or an o or whatever, gutturals pull an a vowel, and they do it rather consistently. So this is another explanation why we have that a theme vowel instead of o. Okay. So we have sholech becomes sholeach because it wants to have that yishalach or yishaleach has the that's a furtive patach. You've heard of furtive patach? Furtive. I don't know the word furtive for any other use in the world, only for furtive patach. And in Hebrew, it's called patach genuva. It means that it's stolen. It's not really there because this word is sholeach. It's not really ach. It's really sholech. But to pronounce the guttural in an easier way, that was added because the guttural here is not really ch. It's really h. It's in the throat, so it's sholeach, sholeach, and it's just added to make it easier to pronounce. All right, gutturals, composite shva, and quiescent aleph. Where regular roots take the vocal shva, gutturals will generally take a composite shva. It could be a, e, or o, depending on the situation. So yish'al is the future. Yish'alu is the plural. Notice that it takes the right there, the composite shva. Theoretically, yish'alu. Like it would be a vocal shva. This is the normal shape. But aleph is guttural, so it takes a. Next one, like yisachek. Yisachek, he will play. It could also be he will laugh. Yisachaku, the chet rejects the dagesh, of course. Yisachaku, you see the cha? That's the composite shva. Yasu becomes composite shva, ya'asu. If aleph ends up in a position where it would have a silent shva, it quiesces. Quiesces means it loses its consonant quality. It becomes silent. Silent aleph. People say that aleph is silent all the time, but this is really silent aleph. It's like it's not even there. So this is what we see in Bereshit. Bereshit, that aleph has no value. So if there were a beged kefet letter after it, it would not have dagesh, because it would be followed by a vowel. The aleph there is lost completely. So barata, you created. The normal pattern would be barata with a silent shva, and that would be the end. But what happens is that silent shva is lost and becomes long, and there's no need for beged kefet dagesh. Okay, so the next one, we filled. We would expect milanu, because like the diber, the a becomes a, but this syllable stays open because that aleph is meaningless, and it's milenu. Milenu, we filled. All right. Any questions so far? I kind of like, I feel like a teacher today where I'm just like going through there's so much stupid information in this. So you just have to cover it and, be done with it. Most of this we've encountered in our reading already, and we've gone through explanations of words and stuff. Second vav and second yod, these are the best. We call them hollow verbs. They're hollow because there are two real consonants, and in the middle there's one that disappears. So it's like hollow. There's nothing in the middle. The letters vav and yod cause a lot of alternations in Hebrew verbs. We'll be looking at the various positions in which these letters appear in roots and what effects they have in chapters 25, which is the lamed yod or lamed vav, 26, which is pei yod or pei vav, and 27 to 28, which is ayin yod and ayin vav. That's really a chapter on the middle week. Middle week and hollow is the same. When you have vav or yod in the middle position, what we call hollow, the vowel tends to drop out or disappear altogether. So the root, like gimel vav resh, gur, live or dwell, will become gal. The u just falls out and becomes gal. We've seen it in bo, come, that becomes ba. We've gone through that. So this is all of the breakdown for the word gul, lagul. Lagul is to live.
To live.
Or to sojourn. Sojourn. Yeah. So the participle is from lagul with the vav in the middle. It becomes gar, gara, garim, garot. The perfect, garti, I lived. Garti, I sojourned. Garti, garta, gart, gar, gara, garnu, gartem, garten, garu. Okay, you don't see the vowel, the vav in the word at all. But when you get to the future, the imperfect, suddenly the vowel returns. And then you have agur, tagur, taguri, yagur, tagur, nagur, taguru, tagorna, yaguru, tagorna. This is going to happen with all of the hollow verbs. So lavo becomes ani avo, I will come. Atat tavo, at tavoi. I've got it right here, all of the forms of lavo, to come. Ba, ba'a, ba'im, ba'ot, bati. Notice that the aleph is quiescent, there's no dagesh. Bati, bata, bat, ba, ba'a, banu, batem, baten, ba'u. Avo, tavo, tavoi, yavo, tavo. You see what's happening here? Is this confusing at all? Any questions before we move to the next thing? Ward, how are you handling it? Ward, are you doing it well?
Doing well? No, I'm following along. It's
okay.
I'm obviously not mastering it, but I'm following.
Okay. As long as you get the principles of what's happening, then when it comes time to reading, then you'll be able to basically recognize. That's really all of the. This chapter is heavy in material, so I kind of wanted to stop at that point because we're going to be going into detailed coverage of all of the different types of of weak verbs as we move forward, and there's no sense in covering all of it and then going and covering all of it again, So one thing that I didn't put into the presentation is about Geminate. Again, it's something you're just going to run into. The root, for example, samech bet bet, has this idea of a circle, round. So you can see savavu meaning they went around, savavu, or you could see it as sabu, where they took the two bets and they joined them together. You can see savav or sav, and they both mean the same thing. So Geminates can write both letters together, or they can join them with dagesh. So you'll see them either way. They want you to know that historically, the historic preformative for the imperfect is yak, or ya, not yi. and that has effects whenever we go into the future. Like we say yimloch, yimloch, he will reign. Historically, the vowel was ya, yamloch, yamloch, but it became yimloch after time. But in a lot of other forms, this is why we see, that's why we see down here, yavo, yavo with the vowel ya, yagul. That the ah was the original vowel sound, and that in certain structures it became yi. In most cases, it's still ya. Like the hifil, where we have the hifil like yamlich, he will make him king. Yamlich, not yimlich, but yamlich. So in most forms it's still ya, but in the kal it at least reduced to e. I think that's all I want to cover now, and we'll get to the rest of it like in their individual chapters, because there's too much. There really is too much information in this chapter. So we'll cut out and we'll get to some reading. I just pulled a few verses from Ruth chapter 2, since we did chapter 1 last on Tuesday. This is to help with some reading in this chapter, right? As we move forward and Tuesday we'll read Ruth 2 together. All right. So we're back at it. Here we are. Vatomer. Vatomer, she said, right? Vatomer Ruth, a Moabiyah. Moabiyah is the Moabite woman. Okay. Ruth, the Moabitess, said, El Naomi, to Naomi, El Chana Hasadeh. This El Cha, it looks like it almost means she ate. If you had them switched around, Achla, El Cha. Right? El Cha is like the jussive for let me go, Elech. Elech. She said to Naomi, El Chana Hasadeh, let me go to the field. Valakota, ko. You see that? Oh, that's kind of weird. That doesn't happen a lot in Hebrew. But Jonathan and I read the book of Nehemiah together, and we found it in a few words. But this means let me glean, to collect, like it could be corn or wheat or hay or something, like to collect. Vashibolim. Shibolim is, what is it? Sheaves? I think it's called sheaves.
Yes.
A word
Yep.
nobody
Yep.
says.
Yep.
Achal asher emsachen be'enav. Achal is after or behind. Asher is a relative pronoun. Here it's gonna get this meaning from inside of this. Emsachen be'enav. I will find grace or favor in his eyes. So after him who I shall find favor in his eyes. Or after him in whose eyes I shall find favor. We're translating it correctly. Vatomer la lechi viti. And she said to her, go, my daughter. Okay. Are there any forms here that give you pause, that make you wonder what in the world is that?
So elachta, elcha. That's halak.
This elcha.
That's halak.
It's halak.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to see, let me open up Word. We're going to see that, that there are a couple of words that behave like first noon. We know that first noon, we just spoke about it, that it has weird behaviors because the noon likes to assimilate, right? So we said like lintosh, natash means to abandon. Whenever you put it into the imperfect, it's going to say yin tosh, but the noon likes to disappear, and it's going to become itosh, like yisa. Okay, so that's weird. There are two important verbs. There are two important verbs that are not first noon, that behave in kind of the same way. That is lakach. Lakach, remember what that means?
Lakach, to take.
He took. Yeah, to
Mhm.
take. And the second one is alach, which is he went. Okay, these two are both going to behave strangely. Actually, halach, it's more like first yod. It's like yarad. Yarad means, he went down. We're going to see that halach is like this. Yarad, he went down. They're going to behave the same. This is going to behave like first noon. So it's going to be in the future, ekach, where the noon assimilates. It's lamed assimilating in this case. Ekach, v'ata tikach, you will take. Okay. Anachnu nikach, tikachna. It's the prefix is going to be the same. It's just that the lamed disappeared into the kuf. Does that make sense? Yes? Maybe.
Why do they just disappear? Because of how they're pronounced?
Because originally it would have been like, for the he form, it would have been like yilkach, that with over time they just stopped pronouncing the lamed.
Yeah.
Instead of saying yilkach, they just stopped saying it and they said yikach. And so that lamed disappeared, yikach. Yeah. So this one, alach, it becomes elech, telech, yelech. It looks kind of like what's happening, but it's actually like a third or like a first yod. Elech, telech, yelech, yelchu, anachnu nelech. It's like this yarad, where it's ered. I will go down. Yeah. Tered, yered. For whatever reason, first yod verbs in the kal like to drop their yod in the future, and it becomes like this, ered. So what we see with this word, elcha, is like elech, I will go, elech. Okay, but they've added the hey on the end as a to make it cohortative, cha, and this syllable just reduced. So elech, elcha, elech. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah, I missed the cohortative at the ending.
Okay. So cohortative is like let me do.
Right.
So this is let me go, or I'd like to go, or something like that. It's wishing for yourself to go. Okay, so that's cohortative there. Elchana hasadeh. Let me go to the field. This
And
is also the
two is you just supplied. It's not there in the text, right?
Yeah, it's like as if there is an assumed case ending. There isn't a case ending, but it's like there's one assumed for direction. Yeah, and this is also cohortative here. Ala kota. Okay, this is cohortative. It's supposed to be a PL verb, liket, and for whatever reason, kof in the middle of a word, sometimes it had O instead of a regular shva. Instead of alakata, alakuta, po, po, po. It's odd, but it happens sometimes. This is also odd though, but this is always spelled this way. Shibolim is always spelled this way. Chataf kamatz. All right, shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to read the next one? Ruth 2:3.
Vatelech, vatabo,
That's a V sound for sure. Tavo.
betavo, vate laket,
Yep, that's the PL form. Tilaket, like tedaber.
Basade, ahare, Kutz, ream.
These are
That's
like
the
the reapers,
harvesters.
the harvesters. Sorry, this
Vayi,
didn't come about very clear. This is segol here and chirek.
so vayiker,
Vayiker.
mikreha, elekat,
Chelkat.
elekat, hasadeh.
Okay. Chelkat has a closed syllable at the beginning. That's chel.
Hilkat. Oh, yeah, it's short vowel, huh? Hilkat. Leboaz.
Levoaz.
I saw Boaz. I know the name Boaz was Leboaz. Sher mimese pahat. Mishpat. Elimelech. So this is from her husband's family, her father-in-law's family.
Yep. Elimelech was her father-in-law that died in Moab, and it says from his family or from his clan. But the word is mishpacha with hey, mishpacha. But when it's joined to another word in construct, it's mishpachat with the accent going right there. Mishpachat Elimelech.
So it's
All right.
she walked.
Went.
And she entered. She went and she entered.
Or came.
And
she went and came.
She went and came and gleaned, harvested. In the field behind the harvesters.
Okay, this expression's a bit weird. Mikre is an event, an affair, something that happened. And this word is the verb consecutive of kara. So it happened, her happening. Her happening happened.
What's the vayiker? What's the word there? Kara?
Kara with hey, kara. And her event happened. Her case happened. I would say that it probably means by accident. Probably means something like by chance or by accident. Jonathan, what do you think about that? By chance or by accident?
It's a good explanation as any.
In modern Hebrew, to say by accident, you say bemikre. Bemikre means by accident. Like it's not on purpose. It just happened. That's why it's, and it happened, her event, her happening. So by accident, this happened. What happened?
I'm not sure what Hilkat is.
Chelka, maybe.
Hilkat, is that a field? No.
Asadeh is the field.
Right.
But it might be indicated in your book.
It's a hellcat.
The hellcat, yes.
A hellcat.
It normally like a division of something. Chelek means part.
Yeah, portions, divisions of the, yeah, I guess. Is it talking about the portions of grain?
No, it's the division of the field.
Okay.
Because there were
chelek.
fields and, yeah. So he had the part of the field that she accidentally started to walk around in. So חלקת השדה, the portion of the field, or the
Okay.
part of the field
Okay.
belonged. I'm surprised they didn't give that. Maybe they put it in the vocabulary.
Belong.
Yeah, they said portion. Belong to.
Was this Boaz? Boaz?
Boaz.
Who was of the family of Elimelech.
Yeah, who was from the family of Elimelech, or the clan, or something. He was related to him, right? Okay, fantastic. So, ותלך ותבוא, ותלקט בשדה אחרי הקוצרים, ויקר מקריה, חלקת השדה לבועז, אשר ממשפחת אלימלך. She went and came and gleaned in the field after the harvesters, and by chance, the portion of the field belonged to Boaz, who was from Elimelech's family. All right. Who wants to read the next one? We don't have a lot of these, so. Jonathan or Hosea?
I'll try.
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
Vehine Boaz. Bo.
But it's a va.
Boaz.
Boaz. It's va because it comes closely associated with the vowel sound in front of it. The name is Boaz, and nobody would yell at you if you said Boaz, but here it's specifically Boaz.
Vehine Boaz. Bo mivet lechem.
Ba.
Ba. Oh.
Boaz ba. Boaz ba. He's
Boaz
coming.
ba. Mivet lechem. Vayomer mibet.
Beit lechem. Ba.
Lechem.
Ba.
Yeah. Vayomer lakutzrim. Oh, yeah, from before. Adonai imachem vayomru lo yevarkecha. Yevarecha Adonai.
When you have two of the same syllables, or the same consonants side by side, you've got to stop that. So you have to put it Yevarechecha.
Yevarechecha. Yevarechecha. Okay.
Yeah, it's got to have a break. So you insert a little Yevarechecha means may he bless you.
Okay. Yevarechecha.
Okay.
Okay. And behold, Boaz entered from Bethlehem.
Well, he's not entering, so
Came
he's coming
from?
from.
Was coming from Bethlehem.
And this word ba, is it past or present tense?
You mean, Jason, mean.
Wait. So, bo, you drop.
Ba.
Is it a participle or no?
Yes, good for you.
It can be a participle, or it could also be the perfect. It can be either. Look at the breakdown again.
Yeah.
All right.
We
this is
discussed
it.
this.
Good for you.
You've got
I'm impressed.
ba as a participle right there.
Yes.
And you have ba as a perfect right here.
Oh.
So it can either mean he came or he is coming.
Was coming. Oh, yeah.
Very good. Very
it can
good.
be either one.
I'm learning something that okay. Okay, either one. And he said to the Kutzrim, the harvesters, the Lord, may the Lord be with you. Okay. And he said to him, and they said to him, they replied something. May the Lord bless you. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yevarech is he will bless or may he bless.
May bless
Excuse
you.
me. And the addition of the cha is you. Yevarechecha. Wonderful. Next verse. Jonathan, go ahead. Take it.
If you insist. Vatipol al paneha vatishlach. Vatishtahu arza.
This has to have the accent here. Vaishtachu.
Vatishtahu.
Vaishtachu. She. It means she
Yeah.
bowed down.
She
It's
bowed down. Mm-hmm.
When the vav consecutive takes form for the yod form, it's vaishtachu, and for the yod form, for the hu form, for the he form, vatishtachu, the same accent there. That's because this syllable was lost. Remember, it's va on the end.
Oh, right.
Cool. He bowed down. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, vatishtachu arza. Vatomer elav. Madua matzati hein ba'enecha. Just so folks, I'll sometimes pronounce my seres as A's, and it makes Jason crazy, but it's really hard for me to fix. So ba'enecha lahakireni va anochi nachria. Nochria.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything there that gives you trouble? Anything that's problematic? We talked today about the noons assimilating. That's a noon assimilated. Nafal, fell.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Madua means why, like lama. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This has an object suffix, if you want to explain that to us. And nochria is like nochri.
A foreigner, right?
Foreign.
Foreigner.
Yeah, I'm a foreign woman. It's got, yeah, the ending. I'm a foreign woman.
Lahaki. Okay, so she fell on her face and she bowed down to the earth or to the ground, and she said to him, "Why have I found favor in your eyes?" To Hakire. I don't know.
Okay, it's from
I don't know.
Nun Kafresh. Look, it's a play on words because look, it's related to yeah. But in this case, it means to recognize.
Okay.
Le'akir is the way of saying you know someone or you recognize them. Also in the Bible.
So to recognize favor in your
is like, yeah. Why have I found favor in your eyes that you would even recognize me? You know, or you'd look at me in this case, you know?
Mm-hmm. So that's a Hifil infinitive because you have the Hirik Yod and the Hey with a Patak prefix, and then you have the object suffix, so that lengthens the Reish vowel. Mm-hmm. Or is that pause?
No, it's that's the normal form.
Okay, Hakireni. Vanochi.
Le'akir oti is le'akireni.
So I would just say for the last part, I am a foreign woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Vatipol al-Panah, she fell on her face.
Yeah, not and I am a foreign woman, just I am a foreign woman. I don't think there's any meaning in that vav there.
Yeah.
It might be. It might introduce a circumstantial statement. Like she fell on her face and she bowed down to the ground. She said to him, "Why have I found favor in your eyes? Why do you like me that you would recognize me, being that I'm a foreign woman?" You know, being that it's like a circumstantial idea.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Could be.
All right. 18. Ward, will you tackle this one too? Are you connected?
I think he is connected.
I'm fading in and out. I've lost connection about half a dozen times here.
Yeah, I've seen you.
Can you hear me
in and
now?
out. We can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
So I'll try this and we'll see if I go out. You want me to read this?
Yeah.
Vatisha vatabo batavov ha'ir ha'tere hamuta el asher lekat liketa.
Yeah, this is a pausal form. It would be normally likta, but it's pausal, so it's the vowel returned and it's liketa.
Tose
Totse.
vatiten la et asher ho Torah
Otira.
mish
This one is
Misha.
actually, it's missing the yod
Misa
from the hip yod.
Misa is it
Misov. Did we lose you?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there he is. Now you got to unmute yourself again. There you go.
Okay, we got you to here, hotira, and then we missed the last word. You cut out on that one.
Misava?
This is a closed syllable here.
Misav.
It's
Misava.
closed, so it's o, sov.
Because the
Remember,
accent's on
I
the
think
last
syllable?
Yeah.
Have we lost connection again?
I can hear you.
No, we can. He's probably. Yep.
Yeah, going in and out.
Yeah. This is not working very good.
Yeah, we lost you there, but it's sov, sov-a.
Oh, this is a short vowel. Misova. Misova.
You want to try to translate through it? See if the connection holds? I don't think it held. Oh, there you
I
go.
don't think I know this one.
The first one?
She said she did something.
Yeah, it's nasa. It's the noon is assimilated. Nasa, carried or lifted up.
I'm not hearing anything. And I doubt if you're hearing me.
We can hear you, but.
Well, it's like she carried what she had got from the field. She carried, and she entered the city. She came into the city, and her mother-in-law, Hamota, her mother-in-law, saw what she had gleaned. Okay, she saw what she had gleaned, and she took out and gave to her, meaning that probably Ruth took out what she had and she gave it to her mother-in-law. Et asher hotira misova. So she gave to her what she left from her abundance, or from her Sova. Her normally sova is like satisfaction. What is sova? Yeah, like you've had enough to eat and you're satisfied, you're full.
Yeah, so you had it right. Abundance, from her abundance.
Mm. I wonder why it says what she left. Anyway, that's 218. What do we have next? Not 122. 12, 15, 16. Obviously, I labeled that incorrectly. Hold on, let me check this. Check the verse.
Why is there a meteg on
It's
Naomi?
222. Meteg on Naomi. That happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
You still pronounce it Naomi?
Yeah. This is chapter 2, verse 22, not chapter 1. That's a typo. I was losing my mind. I'm like, what? Okay. Hosea, you want this one?
Okay. Vatomer Noomi el Ruth kalata tovbiti ki tetsei im naarotav velo yifgeu bach besade acher. Now what's this? And she said, and Naomi said to Ruth, to Ruth, kalata. Kalata. I forgot.
We had in the last one the word for mother-in-law, chamuta, her mother-in-law.
Yeah, chamuta.
And remember,
Okay.
kala is the bride or the
okay.
daughter-in-law.
Right. Yeah. Ruth, towards Ruth, her daughter-in-law. So is that how you read this? Okay.
Well,
So
normally when you say to someone, not towards them.
Someone. So this is not yet part of the speech?
No, it starts
it's
right now with the
describing
next
Ruth.
word.
Okay.
Yeah, it's introducing the speech.
Move biti towards me. Good towards me. Because
No, what's this BT?
BT. My house.
Ooh, wow, it would look like it. My house is BT.
BT.
BT is my daughter.
But. Okay.
So his daughter would be Bito.
Bito.
Her daughter is Bita.
Yeah, my daughter is. Yeah. Good, my daughter.
So we could write you go out.
That you go
it's
out.
Good that you go out.
Go out with nearotav. With nearotav. The workers, the young men, his young men.
But this is feminine.
Narot, young women. Okay.
Young women, right?
Yeah.
It would mean that you go out with his young women, right? With
young women. Narot. Sorry. And
You were being dirty. Your dirty mind was going there. Mine was too.
Below.
And did not went
it's again in the future.
And did not
and they will not.
And they will not towards you.
They won't hurt you.
They won't hurt you.
In
Pagka. And in the field acher, in other fields.
In another field. So it's like it's good for you to stay there because this guy's from the family, and if you go to another field, maybe somebody will hurt you.
Yeah.
So it's better for you not to go over there. I think that's the last one that I put together. Shelot or kshayim. We're at the point now where the textbook is going to matter less, because we're at the point where you just need to gather what information you can from the textbook, but the important thing is always going to be from now on reading. And when we read, we're going to encounter forms that we don't recognize and that we need to walk through or discuss. Any questions on this chapter? I think we should call it a night. I don't know if you noticed that I was extra tired tonight. I don't know why. I've lost energy today. But I do appreciate that we're at this point in the course where, you know, we're going to have to really, there's a lot of information presented in the textbook, but it's not as vital as what we've covered so far. So any difficulty, anything you want to walk through or to figure out before we do call it a night? Was there something that struck out at you and you thought, wow, let's look at that?
I need to call it a night. See you, everyone. Good job.
Bye, Jonathan.
Bye, folks.
This word hotil is related to the word yetel that we looked at before. Hotil is to leave something, like to have extra of it. Like notar is to be left over. Notar is hifil, is nifal, and hotil is hifil. But they're the same root, yetel. Okay, that's this word here. I didn't know if you might not have recognized that one.
Well, I hope I have a better internet connection next time.
Good luck with it. I do hope it works out. And for that, I think we're finished then. We need to read Ruth chapter 2 for Tuesday. We went over a few verses now. Look at the things that troubled you. Try to listen to the recording, like, you know, a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. Okay. I know that Ward said that he was listening to the Bible.is application and that it sounds good. So, all right.
I'm liking Mekon Mamre because I hear him. I hear everything.
Yeah, when I was learning a long time ago, I also really enjoyed listening to him because he has a very interesting pronunciation. You can hear every sound. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You.
So we'll see you guys later. Good luck with your internet, Ward. Bye-bye.